What's up, everybody? Checking in with another one. It is currently, I don't know why, I just don't ever sleep. But I was just in there in my word, right? Studying my Bible. Look, I was talking to this guy the other day, right? And he have experienced what you called church hurt. Like hurt by the church and hurt by the people of the church. And I've seen this play out so many ways to where it's like once a person is hurt by the church, they vow in their mind to never return. But look at it. look at this. Look at this for a second. The problem I see with a lot of people make, again, like I told you, I grew up in the church from my youth up. And the problem I see what a lot of people make, they try and let their pastor raise their child, right? And what I'm fixing to say, it's going to offend some people, but what you have to understand is, and I'm gonna say this with as much grace as possible, and without saying any disrespect. What you have to understand is, your pastor is a man as well. And what I mean by that, as men, we are imperfect beings. We have a flesh that we have to fight. You cannot look at your pastor like, man, this man don't go through nothing. He flawless. It's not true. But he is called to be your pastor. Now look, I'm gonna give you some examples I've seen over the years. This is not a direct shot to anybody. And what I mean by people, you have to have your own mind. You have to have discernment. And I'm making this video about church hurt because I've known people that had church hurt, not just in my church, but from different churches. And what it is you have to have your own personal relationship with God, right? And like, look, I'm gonna give you an example. I'm gonna give you several examples. If you look for the pastor or the church to raise your child, you're setting your child up for failure. And we have to remember, like, okay, I'm gonna give you an example. I remember when my sisters would go out on the weekend, like my parents wasn't, you're not going out on a school night, but you can go out Friday night and you can go out Saturday. But my parents wasn't, you got a curfew. Like, my parents wasn't on that. Now, the pastor, he had a curfew for his kids. Other parents in the church had curfew for their kids. And it's like my father wasn't, y'all be home at this time. And at the same time, see, if I stayed out late, I was out working. I never really just went out to hang out. I always worked. So when my sisters would go out, it would be, they're going to go to a football game. Football game going to be over at about 8:30. They're going to go get something to eat. 9:30, 10 o'clock, my sister's headed home, right? So my father was never, y'all need to be home at 10 o'clock. He was never on that. And you have to understand, when your parents come out of the world into the church and they have kids, they want to bring their kids up in the right ways of God. And your parents would do stuff more extreme than the normal person because they really want to raise you in the right way. And the kids that grow up in the church in a in a sheltered but secure environment, those children want to go experience how the world is living. Even though the parents come out of the world and want to give their children a better head start on life, those children want to go experience what the world has to offer. That's just what I seen growing up. So again, my father was never on curfew. Other parents was. So then it was like, say, bro, you letting your daughters come in the house whenever they want? Well, yeah, as long as I know where they at. And people would have their own opinion about that. Now imagine, look at it like this. All right. I got 5 daughters. Will my 5 daughters have a curfew? Yeah, they're going to have a curfew. They is. So that's like me saying, yeah, y'all just come in whenever. And my daughters are coming in 11, 12. They're not coming in 2, 3 in the morning. They're coming in 11 to 12. Say, bro, if I was you, man, I wouldn't really let my daughters hang out. Okay, all right. Hey, y'all be in at 10 o'clock. Well, Daddy, why we got to come in at 10 o'clock? I said so. All right. Then this guy that told you, man, I have my daughters come in early. His child out at 1 in the morning. Well, dang, bro, you told me to tell my y'all can stay out whenever y'all want. All right. You see, that comes from an unstable person. Like, I remember growing up, we couldn't watch TV. Why? Because it went from, well, the stuff they showing on TV is not of God. Y'all don't need to be watching it. That's what it is. Then it went to, well, man, we can get Disney Channel. We can get stuff that is of God. All right, but y'all get out the room when the commercial come on because I don't want. And then it got to the point, and then it was like some people, we ain't watching TV at all. Then some people, yeah, we watch TV. It don't matter, we know right from wrong. When you grow up in a church environment, everybody have different opinions on different things. And most people will just go along whatever the pastor say or do. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, I'm trying to see if I can give you another example. Like, I remember parents growing up, they didn't want their children going to the movies. My parents didn't care. Y'all want to go to the movies? Go to the movies. And I remember these kids sneaking and going to the movies. Now, don't ask me what was playing back in those times because I don't remember. But you have to understand, if you're not guiding and leading your own family, you're setting them up for failure because then your wife and your children, they will be subject to how this person feels or how this person view things. I remember growing up with kids with a father where the father didn't want their sons wearing shorts. I remember growing up with kids whose father didn't want their sons wearing shorts. And I remember when all that changed. And I remember that guy saying, these kids, they wouldn't play basketball at the gym. They the only ones out there with pants on playing basketball. And I remember them telling their father, I remember the talk of the town where it was, well, man, the pastor's son wearing shorts. All right, man, y'all can wear shorts then. You have to have discernment. And again, this man is running his house the way he want to run his house. And it wasn't like, you cannot live your life and raise your family based on what someone else's opinions is. You want to live your life and raise your family based on what the Holy Bible says. Adorn yourself in modest apparel. Now, my parents was the type, you're not walking out no house in no muscle shirt because you half naked. That's how they would view that. Some kids' parents be like, oh, at least his chest covered up, you fine. Some parents was like telling their daughters, y'all not going to the beach and wearing bikinis. Some parents was like, put a shirt on, put some shorts on, you can go to the beach. Now, where I see a lot of church hurt come in at is the children will look at the parents like, y'all ain't got no sense. Y'all doing whatever somebody else says. And it's not that, because this is everybody's first time raising kids. Some of these people that I'm telling y'all about, they have a different view now on a lot of things because it was their first time raising children. Everybody made mistakes along the way. You cannot let somebody else raise your child. If my child spill a glass of water, I'm not about to sit here and yell at you and give you a whooping. I'm going to say, look, clean that up. You need to be more careful. The next person be like, I'm whooping your behind because you're not paying attention. Everybody is not the same. Everybody don't view things the same. Everybody don't do things the same. Like, I'm going to be honest. The biggest joke to me is the biggest joke to me on how everybody view Christmas. Everybody view Christmas as running out buying gifts. I'm gonna be honest. When you see people, man, Merry Christmas, bro. I'm gonna be honest, man, bro. I can't stand when Christmas come around because it's a bunch of fake love. It is a bunch of fake love. I cannot stand when Christmas come around because when Christmas come around, the man got to go in debt to please the family. He got to go spend thousands of dollars on gifts for what? Is my love not efficient enough throughout the year? And then you have some people, they don't even celebrate Christmas. I'm more of that. I like that crowd. Let's not celebrate that foolish. But do we celebrate it? Look at all this trash. Yeah, we celebrate it. And we buy gifts and all that other dumb junk. Yeah, we celebrate it. I don't give a flip about it. Because most people, even Christian people, even people in the church, even pastors have turned Christmas into nothing but gift giving. I don't give a flip about Christmas. Flip Christmas. Because y'all are not really celebrating Christmas. Y'all just about the gifts. That's just what it is. I tell you what, go 2 years without gifts. See how your wife and kids treat you. But that's what I'm saying. Like you have to thine own self be true. If you're not going to be true and honest with yourself, what's the point in you living? What is the point in you living? Like you cannot only open your Bible on Sundays and Wednesdays. 5 days out the week. Look, that's like we're going to eat fried food 5 days a week, and 2 days out the week, we're going to fast. You still going to have clogged arteries. 5 days out the week, we're going to eat chili dogs, hot dogs, hamburgers. And 2 days out the week, we only eating greens and vegetables. You still going to wind up overweight. You have to get in your word every day. You have to pray every day. You have to seek guidance and counsel every day. And I'm going to tell you like this. You will never find two Christians that believe the same thing. Down to their core value, they will believe the same thing. When they get down, get into the stages of life, two people will not see things the same. You can have two Christian men. And they will view the way their wife dressed will be totally different. One man may think it's okay for his woman to go out in tight clothes. I'm not okay with that. My woman is not walking out the house in tight clothes. My woman is not walking out the house in mini skirts, short shorts. My woman not walking out the house with her breast showing. It's not happening. Put something else on. Some men be like, hey man, that's what she want to wear. I don't see nothing wrong with it. People view things in a different. Some people may think, how can I explain this? Like, some people may think it's okay to go to let's go to a Chris Brown concert. Let's go to a Kevin Gates concert. Let's go to a Beyonce concert. You have one Christian man. Let me rephrase this. Jodeci, R&B group Jodeci, or if I don't know if that's a singer, Keith Sweat coming into town. You and your old lady want to go see Keith Sweat. Yeah, let's go. One Christian man be like, man, I ain't going to listen to Keith Sweat. He ain't talking about nothing about of God. Other Christian man, I don't see nothing wrong with Keith Sweat, man. We going. You may have one Christian man, I'm going to a comedy show, man. Richard Pryor gonna be, or Martin Lawrence, or they gonna be telling jokes. You had one Christian man, bro, I'm not going to listen to Richard Pryor. He cussed too much. Other Christian man, I don't see nothing wrong with it, man. Let's go. You will have, that's why you have to have your own mind and lead your own house. You will have people that believe two totally different things. They still want to worship and serve God and lead their family, but they're going to believe in two totally different things. Two totally different things. That's just what it is. Like you have some people will go to the casino to eat. Some people will not go to the casino to eat. It's like that's how you have to, and you cannot live your life based on what somebody else feel or think, because you will be a miserable person because you cannot be true to yourself. And I know plenty of people that I grew up with who've packed up and moved away because they were so concerned about the opinions and views of others. They were so concerned about the opinions and views of how other people felt about them, or how other people think about them. Imagine at 4:53 in the morning, I'm worried about what somebody else think or say about me. You know what I'm saying? Bro, I really think, man, you ripped them folks off on that job, bro. And I'm up at 4 in the morning thinking about what somebody else said to me, and they sleep in their bed. Or today is the day where I'm leaving my full-time job, going to work for myself. But 8 o'clock last night, a guy was telling me, bro, I really think you need to reconsider. And right now he's in his bed sleeping like a baby, and I'm up wrestling with the opinion of what he thinks. Listen, a lot of y'all think y'all have friends, and I'm gonna be honest, your friend is not opening up to you 100%. That same friend that you think is your friend is opening up to somebody else 100%, who he or she haven't known longer than 2 or 3 years. You may have a brother that you're not as close with, but you open up to a friend more than this brother. The Bible says a friend sticketh close. There are some friends who sticketh close than a brother. Look, I noticed when I was younger growing up, I really cared about what people thought about me and what people said. Because I remember this guy. I was 16 at the time. And again, I grew up in the church. So you want your kids to live a certain way, knowing that they grew up in the church. And I remember I was 16. All of my friends, the elders in the church would say they listening to worldly music, like, music that wasn't of God. And I wasn't. Man, look, throughout my whole teenage years, I was really trying to live for God. Bro, I wasn't smoking. I wasn't drinking. I wasn't having sex. I wasn't chasing women. I wasn't listening to worldly music. I was just grinding, trying to figure out who I am in life and what I'm going to be. And look, I remember I was going somewhere, and the guy was like, I'm going to say it, I don't even care. I was leaving church on a Wednesday night, and the guy was like, hey, Gip, you going my way? You think you can drop me off at the house? I said, yeah, that's cool, bro. And I was 16, he was like 40. Well, man, you can just pull your car. Man, I'll jump in there with you. You can go ahead and get all your music out. I told him, I said, man, I don't listen to none of that, bro. And it was like, he assumed that I listened to rap music along with the other young generation, right? And he got in the car with me, and he was kind of this is what I mean. He was trying to kind of see where my head was at. And I told him, I said, bro, I'm not on none of that. I said, bro, I'm not chasing women. I'm not smoking. I'm not drinking. I'm not hanging out. I wasn't true to myself. I wasn't true to myself because I wanted to show him that, man, I'm really trying to do the right thing. And what I learned in my short 35 years on this earth, people would tell you to do things that they wouldn't do. They would have so much advice for what it is that you need to be doing, but secretly they doing something else. I remember I remember talking to this girl, right? And I remember a guy, he's just a regular guy. He was trying to preach to me about not getting along with this woman or this or that, or you'll end up having sex with her. And come to find out, he was doing the exact thing he was telling me not to do. I learned a lot from people because I'm telling you, when I say everybody had their so-called wisdom they wanted to bestow upon me as I was growing up, because a lot of people viewed me as different because I didn't run with crowds. I didn't hang with people. I didn't do what others did. So when you watch my YouTube videos, I'm outspoken, and people do not know that side of me. Everybody see me, I got quiet. He keep to himself. I'm gonna be honest, bro. The point I'm at right now in life. I want to be as true to myself as I possibly can. Like, I don't hang out with people because I don't want to. I don't open up to people. I keep everybody on surface level. I'm just gonna be honest. I keep everybody on surface level. I don't dive deep into what my thoughts really be on how I move. I keep everybody surface level. Now, my wife know the real me. My wife know how I feel about a lot of things. Like, when stuff go on with family or so-called friends, and she'll bring it up, and I tell her, like, look, if you don't want the raw truth, don't ask me. But I would never tell that person the raw truth, because in all honesty, with some friends, you cannot be 100% truthful because they will view it in like a different light, like you trying to bash them or tell them what to do. They can't really take it. With my siblings, I'm raw and honest. How raw and honest I am with them, I cannot be that way with somebody else. To thine own self be true. To thine own self be true. To thine own self be true. That is so powerful. To thine own self be true. But you have to just be yourself. Just be yourself. You will be more happy when you just be yourself. You will be more happy when you don't care what others think. Like, I'm to a point in my life now. I don't try and, how can I put it? Like, outside of my siblings, I'm not fixing to chastise a man on what it is he's doing, because deep down inside, he knows what he is doing. Like, I'm not going to go tell a man, bruh, you say you this, you say you that. But, like, I just distance myself from people. Like, honestly. If you telling me you a Christian man, but you sleeping with 20 different women a week, I'm not fixing to come tell you, bro, you ain't living right. You know what I'm saying? You say you this, you say you that. Because then it's like, bro, he doing what he want to do. That man is doing what he want to do. Unless he asks me his opinion, I give it to him. But other than that, he know what he doing wrong. So I'm gonna leave him right there. But to thine own self, be true. Be true to yourself. If you're not going to be true to nobody else, be true to yourself. And remember this, nobody owe you nothing. Nobody in this life owes you anything. And that's how you got to view stuff. Like, bro, I see stuff so different now. And it's what really blew my mind in my early 20s is when so many people had so much advice on what I needed to do in my 20s. And the sad fact is I yielded to a lot of that advice. And looking, bro, it's some things in my life I really wish I would have done instead of listening to other people. It's things, man, I wish I would have, instead of listening. And I'm not talking about like seeing or nothing. It's like, no, not seeing, just like life experiences I wish I would have just done instead of caring about what people thought. But hey, you only got one life to live. You only got one life to live, so you might as well live it for Christ.